Hello there. Welcome to another INFJ ramble. Tonight's topic is going to touch on the importance of purging. And what do I mean by that? So, I think in relation to a lot of my other videos, a lot of the times we encounter blockages in our body. And when I talk about our body, I'm not only talking about the physical, I'm talking also about the emotional, mental, spiritual body. We encounter blockages because we are holding on to something. And this can be reflected also in our direct environment. And what do I mean by that? I mean our home. Look around your home. I don't know about you, but I feel like a lot of people hold on to so much stuff, and there creates a lot of clutter, a lot of hoarding, and it's very reflective on your state of mind. And everything is connected in one way or another. So, if you look at your environment, if you're living in a very cluttered environment or a very dirty environment, it's probably in relation to your bodies, your energetic bodies, your physical body, your emotional body, your mental, your spiritual body. And so I don't know how important this is to you, but it's very important to me. And I know, like, I go through certain periods of the year where I start getting kind of like in that nesty mode where I just need to clean and I need to purge and I need to just get rid of stuff. Usually, how I determine what to keep and what not to keep is how well, one is, do I use it frequently? Two, is it broken or damaged? And if it is it repairable? Am I going to repair it? And if not, I probably give it away. If I'm not using it, or if it's just been kind of sitting around and taking up space. You know what I mean? It's a block of energy in your indirect or direct environment that prevents you from receiving things that are worthwhile, or even receiving like clearer spaces in your environment. And like I said, it's in correlation to you. So if you're encountering like health issues, usually the root cause of health issues is a unhealthy or imbalanced state of mind or being. And what do I mean by that? If you're feeling anything other than vitality and satisfaction or peace, then if you're feeling anything other than those things predominantly, then you probably have some kind of block. And I don't know, I spend a lot of my time alone, and I spend a lot of that time either resting to reset my system, or I spend that time kind of contemplating issues in my tissues or issues that I need to contend with. And I try to proactively clear these things. And that's the thing. I don't think a lot of people think about it because they're too busy being busy in the world. And nothing wrong with that if that's where you're at. But for me, I invest a lot of my time in self-care, in self-knowledge, you know what I mean? So I can understand this mechanism. I can understand, you know, how to kind of like manage my energies and how to invest them in a way that is worthwhile and beneficial to not only myself but to others. So, yeah, there's some sources that I reference that I thought were quite, how do I say, insightful. Yeah. There's Louise Hay. I think she, you can look it up online. Louise Hay, um, emotional body connection. You could look that up, like just type in those keywords, and I'm sure some sources will pop up. But everything from, in fact, let's do it now. Let's just pop it up. So Louise Hay is one. I have some other books that I have on my shelf that I reference on occasion. But for you guys, if this is a new like subject for you, yeah, I definitely suggest looking up Louise Hay, Louise, and I think it's Hay, and maybe emotional body connection. Maybe. Let's try it. Causes of symptoms, according to Louise Hay, the alchemy of healing. So that's the first, how do I say, a reference point that pops up when I look it up. So she'll go down into like, here, causes of symptoms, according to Louise Hay, is a good place to start if you're looking for healing. Illness, however mild or severe, is an indicator of your emotional state caused by your thoughts and focus. Blah, 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 blah. But she'll break it down into a symptom list. For instance, abdominal cramps is in correlation to fear or stopping the process. Aches, longing for love, longing to be held. Accidents, inability to speak up for the self, rebellion against authority, belief in violence, alcoholism, feeling of futility, guilt, inadequacy, self-rejection, allergies, denying your own power. Sorry, my nose is itchy. I mean, down to like asthma, inability to breathe for oneself, feeling stifled, suppressed crying. And I know if you were to go in depth, like go into Chinese medicine, they tell you like the different organs have a particular function and are also correlated to particular emotions. So the lungs represent sadness. So if you have breathing issues, it's probably because you have repressed emotions of sadness that you are not contending with and not releasing. And so your lungs are, undergoing some kind of trauma. And same with like your stomach, like as far as I'm concerned, like it's, if you're having like trouble like with in your stomach area, it's probably because you have a hard time digesting life. You know what I mean? For others, like if you're an empath or a highly sensitive person, we have a tendency to have a lot of fat in our tummy area because it's a way to protect us from all the various energies that are coming to us, and we are unable to digest them. So we have this layers of fat as like external armor to protect us. But anything with the stomach has to do with digestion and your inability to digest life. You know what I mean? So it's really interesting. Stuff like bad breath, anger and revenge thoughts, experiences backing up, belching, fear, gulping life too quickly, body odor, dislike of the self, fear of others. And it goes on and on. It's alphabetic. Sorry, I can't freaking speak right now. It's alphabet. It's in alphabetical order. That's what I'm trying to say. Yeah, it goes down into A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Let's see. So your eyes, it represents the capacity to see clearly, past, present, future. So that's why I tell people if you're farsighted, that means you have a inclination to always be thinking about the future farsighted. If you're nearsighted, then you have an inclination to be more present and focusing on the happenings of now. If you have 50-50 vision, perfect vision, then you have the ability to kind of like jump into either mode based on what you're trying to accomplish and what you're trying to process. So, yeah, so a lot of these things are in correlation to your emotional and mental state, believe it or not. And that's why it's so important to be aware of what you're feeling and to deal with it accordingly. Repression just leads to blockage. And that's why, like, I don't know, there's so many ways to help create more balance and flow in your life. And it starts with this. And it starts with this. And it starts with what you're tuning into. And just being aware, you know what I mean, of what you're repressing and working on bringing it to the surface and releasing it, you know what I mean? And same with your home. I mean, if you're not using something or it's broken or it's, something that has been long standing and not in use, then it's probably best to just let it go, right? And I think that's what it's about. It's about letting go and making space for new things to enter. You know what I mean? I was telling someone that I think that, how do I say, we're constantly consuming and processing and eliminating life in many different ways, shapes, and forms. I mean, you could say that with the food or the drink that you put to your mouth, you know what I mean? You're constantly consuming, processing, and eliminating, right? But also with your experiences, also with the things in your home, things in your work environment, friendships, or relationships in general, you're constantly consuming, processing, and eliminating. And if you're just consuming, but you're not processing and you're not eliminating, then you're going to get blocked up. So think of life that way, and look at it from all the different angles and variations that and forms that it comes in. You know what I mean? Anyhow, if you learned something cool, if you didn't, that's cool too. It's super hot in here, or could just be that I have super thick, long hair and it's making me super overheated right now. I should definitely put it up in a bun. Anyways, thanks for watching. If you learned something cool, if you didn't, that's cool too. Blessings to one and all. Amen.